What's up guys, it's Gex, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my free to play Heroes Generation deck. And as you guys can see, it's pretty much the same deck I already had, but just free to play. It's going to be a Neospatian Masked Hero type of deck that also uses Neos Fusion. But yeah, let's get right into the video. Now before I start the replay, I just want to remind you guys that I am in King of Games, so it's pretty hard to get replays since in King of Games no one really uses their tryhard decks. So most of the decks that you guys are going to see in the replays are either rogue decks or just stall decks like this one right here. But either way, in this replay I'm going to be showing you guys how the deck pretty much works out, and then we're going to be talking about the deck profile. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting off, first turn my opponent just sets one monster. Now right here I did get a pretty good hand. I was able to activate Convert Contact to get rid of my Neospatian Aqua Dolphin and draw 2 more cards, so that's always pretty good. Now I do have Keeper of Dragon Magic, so I was able to discard 1 card to get a Neos Fusion into the hand. Now luckily, as you guys see, I do have a mass change in hand too, just in case I ever need it. So I activate Keeper of Dragon Magic's effect to bring out a Neospatian Aqua Dolphin. Just for defense, I didn't really need him to fuse or anything, but I just kept him there for defensive purposes. Then I activate my Neos Fusion, and I bring out Elemental Hero Brave Neos. Now the reason why I brought out Brave Neos and not any of the other ones was because the other ones do rely on Neospace, and just in case my opponent does get rid of Neospace, I can just bring out Brave Neos and I can keep them out on the field even if Neospace gets taken out. So right here I do attack with Brave Neos. I attack with Brave Neos because once he destroys a monster, he can search for another card that's related to him. So I search for Miracle Contact, and then I attacked it directly for 1800 using Keeper of Dragon Magic. Now during my next opponent's turn, he tried to attack with Submarineroid, but I did have a Hero Blast, so I was able to target Elemental Hero Neos from the grave, bring it back to the hand, and that pretty much just destroys one monster with less attack than him. So I was able to just get rid of Submarineroid that same turn, and there it goes. Now right there my opponent ended his turn. So right here I remembered that he's running a stall deck, so I activated Neospatian's Aqua Dolphin effect to discard a card and then get rid of one of my opponent's cards. Now as you guys see, he does have a Kiteroid and 2 Sphere Karibos, so I got rid of one of those. I got rid of Kiteroid, and then right here I activated Miracle Contact and I brought out my Elemental Hero Aqua Neos, and he pretty much has the same effect. You discard a card and then get rid of another. So right here I got rid of one of his Sphere Karibos, and then I went to attack and he just ended up surrendering right there. So yeah, that's pretty much how the deck works out. So let's go talk about the deck profile now. Alright guys, so here's my free to play hero deck. There's different ways you guys can play this deck, so make sure you guys watch the rest of the video. Now we run 2 Elemental Hero Neos Alias because he's actually in 2 structure decks. So you can actually get him from the Neos Fusion box, and you can actually get him from the Heroes Generation box, and you can also get it from the Blade of Spirits mini box. So yeah, that's pretty easy to obtain. I run 1 Keeper of Dragon Magic. You discard 1 card and you can search for a Neos Fusion or a Poly, but we don't run Poly in this deck. But make sure if you guys do have a Neos Fusion in hand, make sure you fuse using Keeper of Dragon Magic. That way you don't draw into a dead card. Now he does have another effect where he can bring a monster from the grave onto the field, which is pretty useful. But unless you're going to do that, you might as well just send them to the grave, because his only purpose in the deck is to search for Neos Fusion. Neospace Connector, we run 1 copy. He comes in the Neos Fusion structure deck. He pretty much on summon, he can special summon a Neospatian or an Elemental Hero Neos. So pretty much going to be activating her effect to bring out a Neos, and then during your next turn you can actually activate Mass Chain, or you can use them for a Neos Fusion or Miracle Contact type of fuse. Now right here I do run 2 Neospatian Aqua Dolphin and 2 Neospatian Air Hummingbird. Now they do come in a box, so you can only get 1 copy free to play, and then the rest will be in a box. They're actually rares in the Galactic Origin box. But keep in mind that you don't really need 2 copies of them. You can actually just run other Neospatians that you have, because most of them are just going to be going into the graveyard, so you can activate Convert Contact because you need to discard 1 card and send 1 from the deck to draw 2. So you can actually replace 2 of these, like 1 of each, with any other Neospatians you may have, or you can actually just change them to any other Neospatian that you have. You just want to make sure that you have the right Elemental Hero Neos Fusion for it, and you want to make sure that you have the right masked heroes to pair up with the attributes. So if you have the Fire Fusion, then you want to make sure you have the Fire masked hero too, so you can use the mass change on it. And then we run 2 Elemental Hero Neos. Now you can run 3 if you don't have a Elemental Hero Alias, but pretty much he's just there because he's the core fusion of everything. You use him for Neos Fusion, you use him for Miracle Contact, and you use him for Mass Change too. But you can run 3 if you don't have an Alias. So there's a lot of different ways you can play this deck. Just, you know, work with whatever cards you have. I know some people might not have Floodgate. You can actually just replace that with a Counter Gate or whatever you guys have, and just make sure you guys work around this build. Now for the spells and trap, I run 1 Miracle Contact. This lets you fuse using your field, hand, or graveyard. So this is pretty much something you want to activate after you get a Neos Fusion out, and then you just use that same cards that you sent to the graveyard to fuse for something else. One Neos Fusion, you can fuse using your deck. One of the most useful cards in the entire game. Mass Change, this is pretty much for when you already have a monster out on the field. So if you have a Aqua Neos, you can go into your Vapor. You can bring out Storm Neos, but keep in mind you can activate his effect to wipe out the field. And we do run 1 Neo space, so you have a backup, so you can actually use his effect if you want. But pretty much you can actually use him to bring out your Blast. And your Brave Neos, you can actually go into Koga. And that's not the only way you can go into Koga. You can also use Alias, or you can use Neos. But next, we run 1 enemy controller. This deck doesn't have much defensive cards. We run 3 Convert Contacts. Now keep in mind you're only going to be using 1 copy of this, but you need 3 so you can draw into it pretty often. Because once you activate 1, you're going to be sending 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck, so you're only going to have 2 left, and you're most likely going to end up fusing with those unless you activate Miracle Contact to bring them back, and then you can activate Convert Contact again, but the odds in that are kind of slim, depends. But yeah, keep that in mind. We run 1 Neo space because people do tend to go for the Neo space. Since everyone's running heroes now, then they try to just make your deck weaker by destroying the Neo space. And not just that, we do have the Aqua Neos and the Hummingbird, so they're going to try to get rid of it at all costs. So we do run a backup. But if you don't want to run a backup, you can run Necro Valley, or you can run any other card that would help you out. But I do run a Neo space because it fits in with the core of the deck. And then the last 2 cards of the deck are going to be Floodgate. You can replace this with whatever you have. I know we just got some UR Dream tickets, so you guys can use that on Floodgate. It fits in every deck, or you can use Canadia or anything like that. So that's why I added Floodgate in here. And then the last card in the entire deck is going to be Hero Blast. Pretty much you activate this, target 1 elemental hero normal monster, so that's only going to work with Alias, or it's going to work with Neos. And then you bring it back to the hand, and you can just destroy 1 monster on the field that has less attack than that. I showed that in the first replay. Pretty much any monster less than 25 or 19 you're going to be able to destroy with Hero Blast. And not just that, it's going to help you recycle because it brings the monster back into your hand. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. You can change the Neo Spacians and just bring out whatever fusions you want. Just make sure you do have the same Masked Hero attribute. So if you have the Flare Neos, then you want to make sure you bring out the Fire Masked Hero. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You can change this deck however you guys want. But yeah, that's pretty much the core of it. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. I'm going to be showing you guys some more replays that I got with this deck. Now I did say I am in King of Games, so most of the decks I'm going up against aren't even meta. But they were still pretty good duels, and it shows you guys how the deck plays out. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
羽ばたい